another edition of the Front Row Roundtable. Glad to have you here. I'm Norm Wamer. Joining me this week, well, you know this guy, big bearded John MalKoski.
Yes, sir. Glad to be back.
Also part of the St. John's Radio Network and official scorer for the International League.
Yep. Well, not until March now or April now, but
if you want to find him on Twitter, it's Big Bearded John.
Yes, it is.
Which actually you can find. Well, Marty's not on Twitter.
I am. I don't even know how I do it though. I'm real creative. I say, hey, Nick.
Marty Bihn, Hallmark Mortgage.
Nick, the intern, please tweet this, and then he takes care of it. I don't even know how to tweet. I have no idea, but it shows up, and it's.
You have an intern tweet for you.
Yeah. I don't know how to do it. I don't want to do it wrong.
No, it's kind of like
I don't want to do it wrong.
It's kind of like Jerry Jones having his son-in-law clean his glasses for him.
Let's just say
it's not exactly like that. And by the way, this is rivalry week for us.
We know
Friday night our teams play, so friendly rivalry.
Yes,
so
yes.
we will see you Friday, and I hope we break the string. That's all I'm going to say about that.
It's been a long time.
Who's your team?
Adam's at St. Francis.
Okay.
His son's at St. John's. He does announcing there, and so we play coming up Friday night. So
well, as we take this, yeah, it would have been last night.
No, I got this right. Trust me. Yes, you know how I usually get this wrong. You've got it wrong this time. I had it right, and John caught me on it. Yes, we've got it right. So this coming Friday. Yes. So good luck to you guys, but I hope we break the string.
Well, it's been a long time, but I hope we keep it going.
Yeah, I know. That's okay.
You won't break the string. I'm just saying.
Well, we can wager on that. Off here. I don't want to wager.
If you're wagering on high school football, you have a serious problem.
I've got problems. Yes, I'm okay. There's no line on it.
He has point spreads.
There's no line. That's what I'm saying. There's no line on the game. We're okay.
Yes. I'm not good at predicting stuff, so therefore I don't even get into that stuff. All right, we're going to talk a bunch of NFL coming up, but we wanted to touch on something we thought would be fun to talk about, and it was something that has been talked about by a couple of writers at the Blade, and it has to do with the Mudhead season being over. The affiliation agreement with the Tigers ends after next year, correct?
Not after 2018. Yes.
Right. As does Cleveland's with Columbus. And
correct. And multiple other teams.
So the discussion is, should the Tigers look around somewhere else? Although the word from... I said the Tigers. Well, the Tigers could too, I suppose, if they wanted to, but it wouldn't make any sense.
No, if I'm the Tigers, I don't know why I had somebody 40 miles down the road, save on travel costs and everything else.
With that being said, Joe Napoli said no way that's going to happen.
Yeah, Joe Napoli, Dave Briggs went and interviewed him. Joe already said it's not going to happen. They're happy with the way it is. John Wagner wrote a post. It was posted Sunday on the Blades website, just kind of saying, look, the Tigers haven't helped us at all. It's been 10 years without the playoffs, 8 straight losing seasons, and the Tigers don't seem to help us at all. I mean, they're always taking the best players from us. The only team that had a winning record this year was West Michigan in High A. I don't see the point of at least seeing what else is out there.
Erie faded too?
Oh yeah. Erie was under 500. They were 10 games under 500.
Wow.
But again, Erie's a good. Erie makes sense because they took Brian Garcia from them. They took Zach Reininger from them. Erie was only 3 games out of a playoff spot, and they took their 2 best relievers and put them with us, and we weren't fighting for a playoff spot.
So playing devil's advocate on that, if the Tigers are going to start rebuilding and they're going to start reloading the farm system by unloading the other guys, you could make the argument it might be different because they've done nothing but wipe out the farm system to keep or get guys at the trade deadline for a long time. So I wonder how the yin and yang of that pull me, push you, because I think sometimes you lose the affiliation right about the time that team's going to go in rebuild mode and restock the farm system. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I think that's an argument against...
I think it is going to happen.
Well,
I think that's exactly what's going to happen.
It seems like it is happening, and then the question becomes, as these guys are fighting to get to the bigs, and it means a lot, whether you end up being the beneficiary of that reality. I agree with you on what's happened in the past. I just wonder going forward if that's what's going to continue. Because if you're Cleveland, look at where they're at right now. If you can make another run and unload a couple pieces next year or the year after to stay in this, to stay in the thick of it each year, do you really care about somebody 5 years out is when you can make hay right now?
And but Cleveland's also shown they can stock a AAA team, maybe not with prospects, but with 4A players. Guys who are really good at this level, but maybe not major league caliber. You know, they always have those kind of guys. Meanwhile, the Tigers don't. You know, a lot of their guys seem to be the ones that flame out, or, you know, the guys who are at the tail end of their careers. You know, this year they gave us a whole bunch of 30-year-old guys. It didn't really work out real well. I mean, they had a hot August just to get back to where they were flirting with 500. I mean, they were 13 games over 500 in August. And even that didn't get them up to 500 for the season. They haven't shown they can make a AAA team that can compete. So, you know, and plus, if you're Columbus, in those 10 years that we haven't made the playoffs, they've been in the playoffs 8 times, 6 division titles, 4 Governors Cup championships, 2 national championships. Plus, they've seen Jose Ramirez, Jason Kipnis, Corey Kluber. You know, and what you're saying is true. I mean, the Tigers have now stocked a little bit of what's coming up, but can they put pieces around them to make a competitive team?
I think they put as much into the minor league system as what they already had. You know, in the sense that, you know, now granted, there wasn't a whole lot there in the first place.
No, absolutely.
There were 2 old cans of corn in the corner and a thing of flour full of ants, and nobody wanted to touch any of it. Well, I'm saying that's how bare the cupboard was.
Yeah,
it wasn't completely empty, but it was pretty sparse in there.
Part of the problem is they're constantly drafting pitchers at the top of the draft. They hardly ever draft position players at the top of the draft. The last time they did was Hill, right? Derek.
Yeah, I was going to say Castellanos, but I think it was after
and
that.
He's done nothing.
Yeah,
I mean, he's been awful.
He's still at Lakeland.
So you still have to, at the end of the day, you still have to judge talent.
Right.
But I would think the future is brighter for Toledo now than it was a year ago.
Right, and I'm not saying, you know, completely tell the Tigers we're done with you guys and move.
You're saying dance to dance and see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, you know, go flirt with the girl in the corner and see what you can find.
Yeah, I don't necessarily argue against that. I just think looking at what has happened without an eye toward what the future of the Tigers is going to be, from a fan standpoint, it's a little dangerous because from a fan standpoint, I think there are going to be more options there, and they may want to put other people around them to get them used to that competitive environment, used to winning. I mean, they're going to need players who have been through that, and I think that changes how you stock a farm system.
Well, but we've also had guys. I mean, a lot of guys that come through. John Wagner does a column every week on, you know, interviewing a Mudhead and talking about it. A lot of the guys, he'll ask, well, what made you sign with Tigers organization? And their answer is, well, they were the only ones who offered me a contract.
I have nothing cute to say about that. I got nothing for you on that one.
This team did not fit the ballpark, though. This ballpark, for those who don't know, it's a pitcher's park.
Yeah.
And this year was a big-time pitcher's park.
Yeah.
And I think that they need to, as the Tigers are building for the future, I think they need to look at speed in the outfield for one, because it's a big outfield at Comerica Park. So that would really help them a lot. But I do think there's some guys in Erie that are gonna come up and gonna help, and there's gonna be guys that acquire the deals that are gonna help.
I think next year's Mudhead team will have the most prospects that we've seen in probably 10 years.
And let's hope they trade Castellanos and get a couple of balls.
I'm not sure I'd stop there, but yeah.
Well, I didn't say stop.
Oh, okay.
But I would.
There's an old joke about that's a good start. Yeah.
Anybody catches me on Twitter during a Tigers game, it seems to be a reoccurring topic quite often. Oh yeah, don't forget, you can always hit us up on Twitter or Facebook, and if you have an idea for a topic that you want us to kick around by more, please drop us a line. All right, we'll take a time out. We'll come back. We'll talk some NFL. It was a pretty good week one. And week two coming up tomorrow, the full slate. We'll talk about that when we come back. It's for our Roundtable on NBC 24.
Hi, Mortgage Marty Bihn here. After 24 years, I have signed with a free agent with a new squad, and I am proud to announce I'm at Hallmark Mortgage. We are a local company, much like where I left. Full service lender, have pretty much every product you could imagine when it comes to buying or refinancing your home. And the biggest reason I left is the market has changed again, and Hallmark is absolutely the most committed company I've met in the marketplace at getting customers closed on time and delivering loans on time, so that when you commit to that real estate contract, we get you closed when you're supposed to. It has become a real problem in the meltdown not to do that, and this company takes it absolutely as the top priority. So I am proud to announce after all these years, I have moved on to Hallmark Mortgage.
Welcome back for our Roundtable Show. It is week number 2 of the NFL season coming up, the full slate tomorrow. And I want to be totally impartial for this segment by wearing my Derek Carr jersey.
You seem very impartial at this point.
I want to be play it right down the middle.
Did you notice he didn't have on the Amari Cooper jersey because apparently 3 big drops on the same drive?
I don't have an Amari Cooper.
Okay, but I'm saying 3 big drops, that was less desirable jersey this week?
I'm not who's wealthy enough to have a full closet full of jerseys.
He gets
up in the morning and goes, who do I want to be today?
I've never purchased one. I like being me.
I'm going to be Drew Pearson today.
Speaking of which, I saw 2 Peyton Hillis jerseys at the CYO round robin. 2. I mean, not just one person. One you can cast off, but 2 people in Peyton Hillis jerseys.
That must be like luggage. You just can't get rid of it, right? You just can't do it. It's a white elephant. It's a gift that people every year they re-gift their Peyton Hillis jersey.
I always figure, you paid $75 for the jersey. I'm going to wear it.
This was a gift, by the way.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. All of mine are, but that's okay.
I have a baseball jersey that says Wamer on the back. Somebody goes, who's that? It's me, dummy.
We're going to have to work on your...
that was also a gift.
Yes.
Well, no, I don't have to work on it now.
Oh, yeah.
I can say whatever I want now. I mean, I still see Tim Couch jerseys.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry. That's all I had. Speaking of which, I thought for his first start, I thought Deshaun Kaiser against Pittsburgh for his first start was significantly better than anybody who thought it through it would have been. I'm not saying it was perfect. I don't think he thought it was perfect. But it was
not going to be perfect.
It was way better than the experts and pundits ever gave him I read something before the game that, he won by default because everyone else was so bad they basically handed him, and he played way better than next man standing.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, he did not look like a substitute. He looked like a true NFL quarterback prospect. And goodness, that's better than the available has been.
And what did I say? The moment was not going to phase him.
No.
The moment will never phase him.
No, we had talked about that before. I mean, both Marty and I have seen him, playing basketball, football, baseball, everything at Central. I mean, he was never too big the moment was never too big. And it continued here. I mean, he just went out, did his job, did what he could do, and to be within 1 score of Pittsburgh is huge.
I'm so impressed.
With so far fewer weapons than exist for Roethlisberger. I mean, to compare his performance to Roethlisberger's with the weapons at Roethlisberger's disposal and his is almost silly.
Yeah.
I mean, he did a lot with not much, in my opinion.
He really needs a legit deep threat.
Right.
Really needs a legit.
Somebody to take the top off.
Because his arm is fantastic. I mean, I'm so impressed of how much stronger his arm has gotten over the years.
Well, and I think he didn't try to make the throws he shouldn't, which is one of the things I look young quarterbacks that try and force the ball into windows that aren't there. They try and make too many plays and end up costing and not just young quarterbacks, all quarterbacks. I think there are a lot of times when the smartest play is to throw it over the down marker and punt. And some quarterbacks never learn that, and the ones that learn it early.
And he did that on occasion, yeah.
But I mean, sometimes I think those go in as incompletions, but yet it was a terrible play, and the choice was a sack, a holding penalty, or chuck it out of bounds, or a bad pick. So of those 4, chuck it out of bounds you should get a plus in the stat book. You should get a PPR for that, or whatever.
Well, I mean, especially after you see some of the hits that he took.
Let's not go there.
I did that on purpose because I know how much you love that.
I mean, that Ryan Shazier hit when he was sliding, and Shazier just leveled him. I mean, that's, when he takes a couple more of those, I mean, he knows that's not what you want to do. I mean, obviously it was illegal hit. But still, I mean, he's going to learn to throw it out of bounds instead of running the ball because an extra 4 yards isn't worth getting your clock clean like that.
I bet you he don't think that way, though.
The body after 16 games with that level of talent, your rib cage will tell you after a few of those. You won't have to think anymore. You'll be like, What did Dion you say? It's a business decision? After a while, you'll start making a business decision.
How old is he, 20?
No, he's 20.
Did he turn 21?
Yeah.
He's 21.
He's 21.
Yeah. I know.
Remember when you're that old, you could do pretty much anything?
Well, first of all, you didn't know you were human. You thought you were invincible, and two, you healed like nobody's business. So yeah, I do understand, but I still think even at that level, somebody's going to say.
I also didn't have 300-pound men chasing me down trying to plant me in the turf. So it's a little different than going to the bar at night.
Some of whom run some 540s.
Yes.
All right, let's talk about Matthew Stafford.
It is hard for me to talk about it without looking at the first half as a body of work for the Lions and saying, if you watch that first half and aren't concerned about going forward, you weren't paying attention. It was almost unwatchable. They looked like an expansion team in the first half. And I'm not trying to be...
Defense kept them in the game.
Yes.
I don't think there's any question.
But the special teams was awful. The offensive play was awful. There were just so many things that were terrible. And then they righted the ship, and so how do we know what you have there?
Oh, and that's what he's done. I think at one point weren't they behind in every game last year, and pulled out 8 come from behind wins. That's what they do. They come on late, and it's probably not the way you want to play it. You don't want to go into the third quarter down.
It didn't look to me like the highest player in the NFL value. That's what I'm going to say without going further. And it's only 1 week, and I'm not going to start on this, but. It didn't look that way.
Because I'm not a big fan of Matthew Stafford. I think he's overrated. Anytime that he has a good couple of quarters, I get those texts and
so you start getting
tweets
blasted.
and what about Stafford? What did he? Well, there's a difference between week 1 of the regular season and week 1 of the playoffs.
Yeah, we're a 2-score deficit might be the end of your season in a hurry.
I'm totally stealing this line from Rob Parker. He said, you tell me Matthew Stafford's shining moment, his definitive game, I'll wait.
What I was thinking to myself...
Because he doesn't have one.
What I was thinking is somewhere he'll show up as a stat line on a Calvin Johnson video is how you define that.
Yeah, but no, one game, no, there's not one. He hasn't had it.
I think he called it Matthew Stat Filler.
Yeah.
Well, we were on this show last week, and good Steve's not here because the only good for Matt Stafford is that Andy Dalton stunk it up enough that no one's even paying attention because he was awful.
Yeah.
He was absolutely horrible.
See, but Stafford, it's still he won a game at home. Congratulations, you're supposed to win at home. Go on the road up in Green Bay and take one up there that puts you in first place or puts you in the playoffs
against a middle road team.
Yeah,
not a team that people expect to fight to go to the Super Bowl, right? So you won a home game against a team you're probably supposed to beat if you're going to be in the playoff hunt.
They were favored in the game, so it's not an upset.
Beat some good teams on the road, then you'll get my attention. But the problem, and it goes back to accuracy. If you watch him close enough, you watch him enough, passes aren't right here. They might be here. They might be back here. They might be up here. Even at times when he's completing passes, they're still not right on the money a lot of the time.
Well, I agree. I think arm strength has never been the question. It's whether he delivers the ball on time. Because the other thing I noticed with him is he seems late in routes, and he always has to me. I don't know if it's a delivery issue. I don't know if it's just his timing. But, because when I watch a football game and somebody's throwing a hitch and they don't let the ball go at the back of the receiver's head, they wait for him to get his head around, I literally start pulling my hair because it seems like, you teach high school sophomores, hey, if we're going to throw a hitch successfully, if you wait till he turns around, the DB's already screaming at the ball. The best thing that's going to happen is not a pick six, right? You're just praying that it's not and I think he does that a lot. Guys are out of routes, they're open a yard or two out of the route, right? They get to the top of the route, they make their break, they're open, and it's behind them and it's late, and it causes problems that you shouldn't have to deal with someone that has his level of experience.
Do we take anything away from that Kansas City-New England game?
On whose side?
Either one.
Kansas City, I think you do, because I think that shows Kareem Hunt can play, and if they can,
well, we knew he could play.
Right? Okay, the NFL at large knows that he can play now.
Well, the fact that he was targeted 5 times and had 5 receptions, which matched his end of his experience at Toledo, the fact that you throw the ball his way and he makes plays on the ball from the running back position, that is invaluable in the NFL today. I think he struggled a little bit in picking up a couple blitzes, which to me also is to be figured as a rookie, and against the Patriots.
Actually, that's the thing that got the coach's confidence, was his ability to pick up the blitz. And that's something he did very well in the preseason, and that's why they felt comfortable trotting him out there as a starter.
Right. But I think he a couple times he got, but it was New England, which I think also is to be taken into account. So I think not only are they legit, their defense looked real good. It was just hard because the Patriots offense looked lost. I mean, that's probably the best.
16 of 36.
Yeah, But
his security blanket wasn't there. Gronk didn't look like Gronk. I mean, he basically got erased.
I understand. There's been more than once where I thought, well, maybe he's, starting at decline and then he'll come up with a 5 touchdown.
Wasn't it 2 years ago that they started saying that? 4 weeks in, he looked lethargic at best, and then he just absolutely
started
lit it up.
for Garoppolo to come in and play.
Yeah.
But he is 40.
I'm not prepared.
Yeah, but
I'm not either.
You just lost Edelman. Gronk wasn't the same.
I think it's something to keep an eye on. We're going to be right sooner or later.
Well, the interesting thing is all the pundits that said could they go 16-0 look silly now because you're already 0-1. I mean, there were so many people ready to give them the crown all over again. I mean, they're certainly. Before the season, they were way less of a sure thing than say Golden State next year in the NBA if you were a wagering person. So the people that, I don't know.
Hoodie's going to figure it out. I'm not. Like I say, I'm not pushing dirt on anybody right here. I'm just saying.
Well, if you listen to his comments, he said, this is our wake-up call, which to me means he couldn't get their attention because they were reading headlines themselves. And boy, if he gets your attention, he'll right the ship.
All right, we'll take a quick look at games that are coming up tomorrow. So stick around. We'll be right back. It's the Front Row Roundtable Show on NBC 24.
Since 1982, Red Wing Shoes at North Reynolds and Bancroft, selling purpose-built footwear for men and women no matter what your job is. Carrying the largest selection of Red Wing shoes in Northwest Ohio, over 3,000 pairs of boots, shoes, and accessories in stock to ensure the proper orthotic fit and style for your line of work. Stop in and see Mike, Aaron, or Bob at their newly renovated office. We're easy to get to at the corner of North Reynolds and Bancroft with ample parking. Red Wing Shoes, Reynolds and Bancroft, where service, quality, and fit come first.
Hi, Mortgage Marty Bihn here. After 24 years, I have signed with a free agent with a new squad, and I am proud to announce I'm at Hallmark Mortgage. We are a local company, much like where I left. Full service lender, have pretty much every product you could imagine when it comes to buying or refinancing your home. And the biggest reason I left is the market has changed again, and Hallmark is absolutely the most committed company I've met in the marketplace at getting customers closed on time and delivering loans on time so that when you commit to that real estate contract, we get you closed when you're supposed to. It has become a real problem in the meltdown not to do that, and this company takes it absolutely as the top priority. So I am proud to announce after all these years, I have moved on to Hallmark Mortgage.
All right, back with our Front Row Roundtable Show. It's a real good thing that we don't record in between.
Way better.
Breaks.
We should record those. It'd be a Netflix show.
We couldn't run it on this network, I'm just saying.
Yes.
All right, let's take a look at some of the games coming up for tomorrow. The Browns are in Baltimore. I think it's a winnable game for Cleveland. I don't know if they do, but I think it's a winnable game.
That's tough. I mean, Kaiser's first road game at a defense like that.
The moment won't bother him. We're established.
I think the question is which Joe Flacco shows up and whether Baltimore gives them the ball. I mean, Baltimore gives a couple bad turnovers. Maybe hang around. I think Baltimore plays a relatively flawless offensive game. It'll be hard to score enough to.
Your Cowboys are at Denver.
I shook my head a lot watching the opening game, and I'm just going to say that if they would stop outthinking things and go with what works, it would make me much happier as a Cowboy fan.
I don't even know who your favorite is.
Redskins.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, we'll do a segment on the,
I was going to say,
nickname.
I feel like I'm on the opposite. You seem like such a great guy, and then you say these things, and it bothers me. It really does.
It's only for one guy, Jim Lachey, from my mom's hometown of St. Henry.
Okay.
All right.
So I followed him. He was a Redskin. So
yeah.
Also a Raider for a couple games.
I was a George Allen fan way back when. The Over the Hill gang.
Yeah,
and got to the Super Bowl and lost.
Yep.
Who do your Raiders have?
The mighty New York Jets at Oakland.
So do you have to like do a ritual sacrifice if you lose that? I mean, do you have to take the katana?
I might do it to myself.
I'm
if I lose that game.
gonna say if you can't beat a team that's trying to lose, what does that say about your team? Speaking of which, what do the Texans do? I think this is like the question of the week, is it not?
You got to go with Deshaun Kaiser.
I'm just saying, but in general, I mean,
See, but the same reason I'm not a big fan of Stafford's the same reason I'm not a big fan of Watson. His accuracy, and I think he'll be a mediocre NFL quarterback.
Yeah, he's one of those college quarterbacks that succeeds because of his athleticism, and he's not a true NFL quarterback.
Well, see,
I agree.
My thing is, and I heard this a lot this week about the coaching decision. How do you go the entire preseason, go into week one, and have the hook halfway into the first game, and I mean, it's inexplicable and inexcusable. That's just knee-jerk garbage reaction from a guy who's supposed to be a quarterback guru. I don't understand how you have a hook after what you've seen. It makes no sense to me.
And, I'm a big Aaron Rodgers fan, and that touchdown pass that he threw in that Seattle game to Jordy Nelson, how many quarterbacks in the league can make that throw? Not that many.
Look, as a Cowboy fan, the throw he made to extend that drive last year still makes me mad. And the answer to your question is no one but him.
But guys that can make that throw, there's a few of them I think that can make that throw. Those are the ones that are top-tier quarterbacks. Those are the guys.
And I mean, he seems
you know what? Cam Newton got off to a real nice start too. I think that they're going to be dangerous. I want to hit the Lions. The Lions are at the Giants on Monday night. It's a game they never win. They never win a game like this.
So
if they do,
so I think the Giants are desperate for Odell Beckham to be playing tomorrow.
Oh, absolutely.
Because the lack of him, Eli looked like he was pouting half the time because his favorite toy. Mom took his favorite toy away and put it in the closet because he was bad or something. So he looked like he was pouting because his favorite toy was gone.
Well,
I think Cam Newton got some new toys and is loving them.
That's just Eli Manning's normal look, though.
Yeah, but it looked even more Eli than his normal Eli-ness.
All right, we got to run. We're up against the clock. It is Powerbomb Wrestling coming up at 2 a.m. after Ring of Honor Wrestling, and set your DVR if you get a chance to do that. And I want to remind everybody, too, that this is brought to you as part of the Toledo Sports Network. You can check them out at ToledoSportsNetwork.com, and there's a lot of high school games and a lot of other things. Well, and we'll get this stuff posted up there, too.
There you go.
All right, so we got to run. Saturday Night Live is coming up next. John, thanks. Marty, thanks. It wasn't as I thought it was going to be. So we'll see you next week.